Good evening, Gabby.
Good evening, TT, and welcome all to Terry Currans' weekly football podcast. Steady away, son. How's Whitby?
Had a few days up in Whitby.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed it.
Fish and chips?
No, we didn't have them up this time. We've
Okay.
just steady away with eating at the hotel.
North Yorkshire moors, what were they like? Peaceful? Full of sheep?
It's a beautiful place, you know.
isn't it?
Giant
Yeah.
light is going up there, so we just like to get up.
I'll be honest, it frightened the life out of me because I don't like heights and there's some dips and what have
Oh,
you.
there's some windy roads, I must admit.
They have up them kind of like shale like brake things, don't they, as you're going? Because if you go off the road, you can go on there and it almost breaks your fall as a motorist. And then when you're climbing, you're thinking, what the hell am I going to go into the other side of this cloud? Because you're up there with sheep and
Drive
heather.
careful, Gabby.
Yeah,
You know,
I know, but I just don't
you
like.
think you all think you're racing drivers.
No, I don't. They used to call me the Vicar or Mr. Bean. I'm the slowest driver that you've ever seen, T. I just don't like heights and I don't like drops like that. And we did go up to the Yorkshire moors and over there towards Scarborough for Sam's mum's partner's 70th a few years ago. Richard's a mad Leeds United fan, and he showed Normski where James Herriot was being filmed and that. So
Yeah.
we had a
All
good
that
look
area.
over the moors and
Beautiful. It is beautiful over that way, you know.
well, it's God's country, isn't it? You know, some wonderful things and wonderful people come from Yorkshire, one of the greatest counties, certainly in this country, and one of the greatest places on earth. T, before we get into the podcast, we all start with the Gary Shaw magic moments. What have you sourced for us this week? I'm guessing you haven't seen much football, but have you seen any magic moments?
Listen, I watched the game on Monday night. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed that Fulham Brentford game.
Yeah.
Absolutely, end to end. Both
good
keep the
teams.
ball. Both attacked.
Yep.
Fantastic football match. You know, and I mean, when I say how did Fulham win it, they had some great chances, right? And missed some great opportunities. But to win it in the last couple of minutes like they did, it was amazing. Well, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Janelt is it his name? The Brentford goal was a great goal.
Yeah.
I hope I pronounced it right. Anyway, so
how did you pronounce the name?
Janelt, Janelt.
Well, I'm sure you have pronounced it well, TC. One of my magic moments was an easier name to sound out, and that's Harry Wilson, his brace in that game.
Yeah, brilliant.
I thought that one goal where he's kind of scorpion kick come, you know, it was one of those that it wasn't the greatest.
How did Arsenal sell him? Tell me. The other kid.
Oh, what kid?
That's Smith.
Oh, Smith Rowe. I'm a massive fan of him. Emil Smith Rowe. I think he's a great player. I think he's absolute quality.
I know he had a horrific injury.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, yeah, he did. And you do look at it and you think, well, Arsenal, with the way that they're playing at the moment, with one or two injuries, etc., they could do with a player like Emil Smith Rowe, and they had him and sold him to Fulham. But this is.
But you see, you can't blame him because he wants to play.
Absolutely, you can't blame any kids.
I know. He looks at Arsenal. Yeah, they've got a great chance of winning trophies. But he wants to play football, and it sort of, I think he sort of forfeit that just to play football.
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a short career, and all you want to do is play. The higher that you go, the more elite club that you go to, sometimes you don't get your starting shirt. And for players like Emil Smith Rowe, it just isn't good enough. So go and play for somebody like Fulham, and you'll get your starting shirt all the time, and you'll blossom into the player that we all know that you can blossom into, rather than be a bench player and coming on what they call an impact player these days. No, it's simply not good enough. I don't blame the kid going, and good luck to him, good luck to Fulham. I think Fulham have got a tremendous squad, and I think Marco Silva has done a great job at Fulham. Might even put a statue outside Craven Cottage, get rid of that Michael Jackson one, put one up at Marco Silva. Might be Gareth Safegate one outside Wembley. And I'm laughing when I'm saying that. Can you believe that, too?
Listen, I believe anything with the
Wokery gone
woke
mad.
football
Wokery
today.
gone mad. Yeah.
I believe in anything with the woke football
Mm.
today. Something has to be done about it. We keep on about he's done well at England. He's got him to three. Was it three finals, two finals, whatever it is
Two
anyway.
finals and a semi-final, and failed in all three.
Yeah.
I mean, England
You
for
know,
me. Gone.
you're supposed to win things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about taking part.
No.
You're supposed to win things.
Mm.
Taking part is for the average person.
Yes, I agree. 100%. It's for people that can't win. It's about the taking part. For people that can win, winners, it isn't about getting to semi-finals, getting to finals, losing, and being told you're the most successful manager since Ramsey. I would say the biggest failure since Ramsey.
The saddest thing about that,
People believe it.
the amount of people what believe it.
I know, yeah. I know. One of your mates.
By the way, I've always said this. At the end of the day, it's opinions, and good luck to
Absolutely,
them.
100%, 100%. I heard a quote the other day. You won't remember what I did. You won't remember what I said, but you will remember how I made you feel. And I think that might not be word for word the quote, but that was the gist of it. And in terms of Gareth Southgate, I don't really remember what he did. I don't remember what he said, but I remember watching his England teams and they bored the arse off me. That is not success in my book. And I know a number of people believe that that's success, but I think that only losers perceive that as success, winners do not.
They didn't bore the ass off me. They frustrated me.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They frustrated me. I look at it and I think,
Mm.
what could have been with the right manager?
100%.
Because we have the place to do it.
Yeah, we did,
This
yeah.
is going to be very, very interesting.
Mm.
Right? And the first thing the woke will turn around and say is Southgate left him a good team.
Yeah, of course I will, yeah.
That's what the first thing they'll say.
They always come back with that. Well, he started on a good platform. When Southgate inherited the England team, we got beat against Iceland and Southgate built it. Oh, come on, let's be honest. If you're going to take a job, really, you want to take a job from the lowest platform, which is what Southgate took it from. And he done okay in terms of building, in terms of building a relationship with the press and the players. Yeah, okay, he done a woke job, and he done okay in that respect. In
If you
terms of
look at the last 12 years of our football,
it's been
national football,
desperate.
the teams we have played have
Yeah.
been so weak. It's been untrue.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And when we've come up against any real competition or any real opposition, right? We've just been absolutely
Second best.
trounced. We've just been trounced.
Second best, outcoached, outplayed, outthought, out everything. We've been beaten. So I'll go back. If you're thinking about building a statue for a loser, crack on, do it.
Listen,
and it will inspire losers.
They
Put
make me laugh.
statues
They
up for
always
winners.
say they don't blame managers for what they got. They blame players.
Of course they do, yeah.
And then when they win it, the manager the finest thinks it's sliced bread.
Mm.
I never work out how the English work.
No, I don't.
But without an elite manager, you will never win anything. I will that I will say.
100%.
Right. But to put a statue there, if any statue should be there, it should be Bobby Moore.
Yeah, I mean, again, I cannot believe that with all these statues, that the English. I don't know whether it's come from the media. I don't know whether it's come from the England, the social media, etc. The woke, the people like that, the losers.
The world's changed.
Absolutely.
The world's changed, or it was changing. The only good thing about it now is the greatest president in history has got back in. So let's hope we can get some reality back into life.
Having said that, I think there is a statue of Bobby Moore outside Wembley, isn't there? As we're talking, I know we've got the Wembley Arch, but there is a statue of Bobby Moore outside Wembley, and rightly so. In fact, I think I've had a photograph taken with that statue. But if there was another England icon that you could put a statue up there at Wembley, for me, it wouldn't be Gareth Southgate. Who would the statue be if you could commission a statue of any England icon?
Well,
Who would it be?
It would be any player from the '66 winning World Cup team. You know, in that team you've got Bobby Charlton, you've got Alan Ball,
Yeah.
you know, Cohen, Wilson, Gordon Banks, you know, Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, it would for me. It would be Jimmy. But I think you're right. I think if you had a statue there outside Wembley, and I'm actually surprised that they haven't done it. It would be a statue of, like, Bobby Moore lifting the iconic picture of the World Cup with all his teammates around him,
Yeah.
and the whole of that squad, including the likes of Ian Callaghan and George Eastham and Peter Thompson, and all those players that actually didn't really take
You know,
part
when
in
you
the
look
game.
at that, right, that squad,
It's a great
and
squad,
yet they
wasn't it?
weren't a substitute.
No.
How sickening must that be?
Well, this is the thing in those days, that there wasn't substitutes. I mean, these days you can put 5 on, so it's a
And to
more
play too many
inclusive
games,
game.
don't forget.
Well, they do play too many games, don't they? I mean, when you're talking about playing, I think that I remember Brian, your gaffer, years ago when he was talking about football on TV, and he was talking to Brian Moore, God rest both of their souls, legends of the game. But Brian did say the thing, you'll ruin it because there'll be too much football on TV. And the thing is with you people, you're nice people, but you'll want to run the game. And Brian Clough was absolutely right. Cloughie was right about pretty much everything that he did or said. I've got to the
Well, I
level
would say with
now.
their bosses, you can't blame Brian Moore in them, but you can say it's their bosses.
Well, that's what he did basically. I
Yeah.
mean, look, Brian Moore was just, the
He was
mouthpiece and the
phenomenal at his
messenger.
job, wasn't he?
Oh, he was super. I think Brian Moore, looking back, was probably the greatest at that role. The anchorman.
Yeah.
Not so much. It wasn't Star
Fair,
Soccer, but it was like, yeah.
Honest, and brilliant at his job.
I mean, it was like On the Ball with Brian Moore. It was, London Weekend TV. He had the highlights package show. I think that Brian Moore was.
And when you go back to statues, I know how can you do it, but when you look at the players what didn't play for England as such, when I said didn't play, played 2 games, 3 games, 1 game, and you think to yourself, these were genius footballers. What maybe, I'm not saying for definite, but maybe won as a trophy. Your Charlie George, your Alan Hudson's, your Tony Currans. I know Tony Curry played more games than them.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But he never felt confident in the manager picking him.
In terms of Rev, he only ever played once for England under Don Revie, and that was Switzerland away, where we won 2-1. Played for 3 different managers. Alf Ramsey quite liked TC.
And I tell you what's funny, they all now go on about Glenn Hoddle, and yet most managers, what's saying with him, even though he played 50 odd games for England, all the managers always complain about him not working on him.
It's the English disease.
It's crazy, isn't it?
The English disease: work rate, work rate.
Well, work this out. You see Messi and these same managers what criticised Glenn Hoddle back then would turn around and say that's an art that he walks around on a football field.
Exactly, yeah.
And if Glenn Hoddle did that,
they'll be saying he's a lazy bugger.
If Alan Hudson did that, they'd be going absolutely ballistic.
Yeah.
If Stan Bowles did that, they'd be going absolutely ballistic.
I mean, we've had so many talented players, so many brilliant players, so many players that could do things that other footballers wouldn't even think about doing. And we've, for whatever reason, whatever manager it's been, we've always overlooked them, or if we've actually played them out of position. It's quite unbelievable and bizarre. But again, it is the English disease. It's the English way.
I know we are being fair when we talk about these players, right? Because, like I've always said, it's about opinions, and I get it.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't get the woke side of it. I really don't.
No.
I'm entitled to criticise them like they're entitled to criticise me.
Well, this
But
seems...
I know which football team had such. My team play football compared to their football.
Absolutely, too. And my other pair of magic moments was I couldn't quite work out what was the magic moment. Gordon's cross or Isak's goal.
Well,
Sublime, weren't they?
you could obviously have them
Mm.
both. I mean, in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. What a move!
In that game, the Brentford goalkeeper pulled off some absolutely amazing saves.
Sorry, that
And
that was
occasionally,
Newcastle versus Arsenal. That game. I'm on about the Newcastle and Arsenal game where Gordon went down the right, pinged it over,
yes,
and
unbelievable,
Isak. I mean,
unbelievable cross, an
great.
unbelievable bang get in.
It was. I mean, the move itself was phenomenal. The move, but when they've moved it out, and he's just first time whipped the ball round with
I'm
his
sure I'm
right
going
foot,
deaf, me.
whipped the ball round with his right foot, and Isak, the perfect header, and it was just
that was like olden days, weren't it?
It was, yeah,
What
absolutely.
ball did I see the other day on television with a goal? Oh, Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield Wednesday's second goal.
Yeah, go on.
I'm trying to think who it was. He bent it right round, and Dean Winders finished up scoring the second goal. Unbelievable pass. Unbelievable pass. And just like you're saying about the Newcastle game, as soon as he hit that, I went goalless. Bang. Yeah. Unbelievable, Jeff.
If you can put that ball in like that, it's just manna from heaven for a central striker, isn't it? And everything about that goal was
the right
fantastic.
Ball, the defender can't get it. The right ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know as well as I do, they'll turn round, 8 out of 10, they'll turn round, the commentator, the pundit will say, great clearance. Yeah. Shocking pass.
Absolutely, yeah.
Shocking pass.
Yeah. They just don't seem to get it, do
so
they?
I can see now why they don't become managers.
I'll tell you what I noticed.
Because these are ex-top players, and I look at it and I think they won't. Mice are getting paid fortune just for getting it wrong on television. So,
but no, I mean the co-coms I noticed last night watching Sporting. Oh, by the way, Obrigardo to Amorin.
What about that result then, City?
Oh, yeah, don't he look good? That's the old kid that played at Coventry, is Currans or whatever his name is. I mean, that Dan Ashworth, who's perceived as a genius and a god, he was the one that sold him to Coventry for £1 million from Brighton. He's got the top job at Man United. He may actually be the bloke that's buying him back for 150 million. I'd make him pay the 149 for his mistake. One hell of a mistake that was, but there you go. That's football.
Gabby, I'll tell you, like I've always told anybody else.
Yeah.
I tell my two sons one day, they'll say to me, he can't be any good, he's not in team. Let me tell you something. If that manager does not fancy you,
you're out.
You won't be in team.
Absolutely.
And that player can go to someone else and look a different player altogether.
I'll give you a go.
And he has done that, right? So it proves it. 9 times out of 10, all it needs with a player is a bit of tender loving care.
Absolutely. I'll give you a great example. When I was younger, in a couple of generations ago...
Don't tell me you were going to be a great player.
No, not at all. I never talk about what I did or what I didn't do, T. But I'm going to talk about a great player. I used to work in pubs and nightclubs, and I worked for a great guy. He was absolutely useless, but the bloke was a genius, and I'd walk through a brick wall for him. His name was Browne Rogers. He used to have a big house on Tennyson Road and used to put up a load of Birmingham City apprentices. One of them was your mate, Pat Vandernow. So I met Pat in the nightclub that we used to work in and Brian used to manage. First thing Psycho Pat said to me was, "What team do you fight for?" I thought, blimey, what a loony he is, because he was a mad Millwall fan, wasn't he, Pat Vandernow? Yeah. Well, I was working in the D Club at Birmingham City at St Andrews the one day, and the one kid, he'd moved to Alton. The only kid he took was Julian Dix. He'd just come up from Bristol. It was only a baby. Yeah. And I was working behind the bar at the D Club, and Jules come in, face as long as Livery Street. If you're a Brummer, you know what I mean. And I said, "What's the matter, Jules?" He said, "Oh, I can't get into this team. Bondi don't fancy me." And I said, "Jules, it's the opinion of one manager. He ain't going to stay here forever. I'd got to go over the road to pick something up." I said, come with us and we'll have a chat and that. We did. I mean, Jules wasn't that many years younger than me. Great lad. And we had a chat and stuff. And I used to go round to Brian's of a Friday, and we used to have fish and chips with Julian. Julian used to go and coach some of the kids at Sheldon East School. And within, I don't know, 12 months, Jules was in the first team at Birmingham. He went on then, he captained West Ham United and played for Liverpool. So he never had a bad career, but you're absolutely spot on, T. It's about that manager at the time that didn't fancy you as a player, and that don't mean say that you're not going to make it, because Dixie did.
I've seen it with lots of players, mate. Seen it with lots of players.
It's football is littered with them, and if the manager don't fancy it or your face don't fit, it's tough. But it doesn't mean to say you're not going to make it. A player that really is making it.
And the other side of it, that isn't all. That player may not fit the manager's philosophy.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Borja Sainz, he's fitting the manager's philosophy at Norwich City. Another worldie that he scored against Cardiff. I mean, this kid is on fire. He's a canary that is really flying. Oh, he's Borja Sainz. I mean, he's just scoring like goal of the season every week. And I think that Norwich will be there or thereabouts at the shake-up. Who do you think is going to get promoted from that championship to? I mean, it's a great league.
When you look, Sheffield Wednesday get absolutely trounced by Watford.
Yeah.
Watford then go get beat by Swansea.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday go and beat Norwich.
Yeah.
It baffles your football, doesn't it?
It does. It's incredible. I mean, it's probably the only game that, or that league is the only league. The form just seems to go out the window week in, week out. We always say form goes out the window in local derbies or the FA Cup or the League Cup. But in the Championship, form goes out the window weekly.
That's the art about being a good manager, is getting your team to be more consistent.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, who do I think will go up in that league?
Yeah.
I think Leeds United for definitely.
Yeah, I do.
You know, what were the teams what came down? Let me have a quick look at it.
Burnley.
The thing about Burnley, they've sold the better players, haven't they, just before the league started?
Yeah.
And they set off quite well. But they've hit that little bit of a bad patch at this moment in time. The teams who I fancy to go up is definitely Leeds.
Oh, I do. Champions.
I fancy West Brom, but they're not consistent enough.
Decent goal by Madger though the weekend. Nice little back flick goal. Again, not scoring enough goals.
And when you look at this, and you may laugh what I'm going to say, take me being a mad Sheffield Wednesday fan. We look as though 1 minute we look okay, next minute we look absolutely garbage. But we have only 3 points out of the top 6.
Will be.
West Brom's 21 points, and we've 18.
Yeah.
But I think Leeds, Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say Middlesbrough.
Yeah, they're my dark horse. But 4-1 at QPR.
But Sunderland set off, like an house on fire. And at times we looked terrific against. We looked well against West Brom, and we looked terrific the other night when we beat them, Norwich. But I know Norwich has got 1 or 2 players out, so it does make a difference.
I started that bleeding vacuum early tonight. She's having a laugh, ain't she? We ain't finished yet. Nowhere near finishing.
Say that again, sorry.
Sam's got the vacuum on already. As we're nowhere near finishing yet, Bab.
Yeah,
turn the vacuum off.
Women they like to get the jobs done.
We've had a few of the grandkids around, and I think they made a bit of a mess. So while the football's on, I think she's doing a little bit of vacuuming. TC on TV and TC on the radio. Let's focus on the Steel City derby. It's not going to be another Boxing Day massacre, because it's not on Boxing Day, and I can't see a massacre either. But talk me through your appearances on Sky and radio.
You would have thought that would have been a massacre. They were at top of the league when they came to Middlesbrough. And they hardly won another game after that when we beat them 4-0. It's not criticising them. It's just for some unknown reason they fell away.
Yeah.
The team, what seemed to be the underdog in it, always seemed to do well, get a result either way, whether they go on to win or whether they get a draw out of it. That was a great result for us the other night. They've had a bit of a bad patch and then bounce back with 2 great results, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they're decent, if I'm honest. I do like Callum O'Hare.
They're a strong team. They're a strong team. But I thought this result against Norwich the other day will take us in with full confidence. I don't think we'll get beat. I think we'll either nick it 1-0 or I think we'll get a draw out of it.
I mean, fast forward it 45 years, because it was 45 years ago since the Boxing Day massacre, and also then on the bank holiday Monday, you scored your wonderful goal at Bramall Lane, didn't you?
I did.
Arguably one of the best goals you scored in your career. Not your best, but one of your best.
Yeah, but that's only for me. But everybody else probably look at it and say that's the best goal he scored.
I would.
So, I do get that. I do get it.
I didn't see the goal that you scored at Fulham. Because that's not been recorded. So
beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, chip the goalkeeper about 35 yards out. What a goal. Yeah. Unbelievable.
See, we'll live in your memory bank forever, but us fans didn't see that didn't attend.
That's the great thing, irony of today's football.
100%.
You don't miss any great goals now, do you? The TV has them all.
But I do think that from what I've seen of you and your goals, for me, the best goal that you scored was that goal that you scored for Forest against Sheffield United in that demolition. And you even got your shirt.
You would have to put that in, won't you? Put out Sheffield United. Get him an hammering on Boxing Day and give him an hammering, when I was playing for Forest.
But you even had your shirt ripped. They tried to rip you and tear you to pieces, but brilliant run, a little give and go. And some people will say, well, with the goal at Bramall Lane, you took a few players, you went round and round in that arc, and you pinged a great, lovely little ball into the corner. But for that run, that little give and go, and just sticking it into the onion bag, I thought that was just magnificent. That goal that you scored.
To be honest, that was another great goal. I know I think Paul Bradshaw sold himself a little bit. But, I mean, he tried to take me out of the game, really.
Yeah.
And I got the balance to get away from it. Because 9 times out of 10 in those days, that's what would happen to you. You'd have been taken out of the game. It'd have brought you down, wouldn't it? It would have been 100%. A professional foul.
100%. I mean, any way that they could.
But I got the balance to be able to do it. Stay on my 2 feet. Little Tony Kenway chasing me. Put up, Tony.
But again, you were fiery, wasn't you? You were different.
I was brave.
You were different from most of the other wingers of the time. And
they knew they weren't going to frighten me, Gabby.
A fullback could always kick the winger.
I got kicked in training like I don't know what.
Yeah.
The first in every dressing room I was in, managers would turn around and say, "Kick the winger." I'm trying to think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or playing again.
He won't come back for more. Just kick him, give him.
I mean, manager would, and they'll say, "Look, he'll not want it." Peter Barnes was a prime example. A lot of managers would turn around and say,
"Yeah,
when you rattle him,
yeah."
I mean, I love Peter Barnes, great player,
brilliant,
great player,
yeah, legend.
I think it was managers what ruined him, and because managers talk to each other and they turn around and say, well, he may be a bit frightened, and he might be this, and he may be that. No, they couldn't scare me. They could not scare me. That's one thing they knew they couldn't do.
Yeah, you were a right little terrier on the pitch. What are you going to be like on the radio and the TV?
I stood my ground, Gab.
Yeah, you did, absolutely. So you, again, both on the ball and off the ball, you didn't fear. And they knew, really, that no matter what they tried to do to stop you, they absolutely couldn't. But
when I speak to fullback at West Brom, Derek Statham.
Yeah. I mean,
he always said to me that he said, I was frightened at lads as much as I was frightened of you.
Yeah.
Because every time I come up against you, lads lads used to say, "You're going to be in for a right time today, Derek."
Mm-hmm.
You know, he says, "So not only did I get it off of you, I got it off of them."
Yeah, but again, when you're looking at you, brave, good touch, left foot, right
Great
foot, pace. You know,
left or right foot.
Absolutely.
And to listen to the rest of this podcast, head on over to www.patreon.com/SRB Media. Thank you.